Up,
How
sir.
are
Wow,
you?
I'm not used to that.
Well, as I said, really, you have been so committed to, ensuring that your brilliance and your expertise stays in these young folks' minds, man. And it's a beautiful thing. I've been able to see you at work at ATS Sugiyama High School, still doing it, still teaching acting, making it alive for young folks.
Yeah,
But you're
yeah.
really here today to talk about the Arts and Education Festival that y'all are putting together. Tell us more about this, Steve.
Yeah, well, it's called the Liberated Village Arts and Education Festival. It's May 13th from 11 to 5, so it's during the day. It's got a lot of things going on, and it comes from the Liberated Village, this organization called the Liberated Village, which is a school without walls. This is $1 million initiative that is set up with about 20 different organizations, funded by the county, by King County. And it's set up to educate our black and brown young people of all ages, primarily middle school and high school. And so the 20 or so organizations will be featured at the festival. And really, it's like a big open house. That's what it is, right? But we'll have prizes. We'll give away prizes. We'll have free food. We got Philly's Best there giving out free sandwiches. And we'll have some other food vendors. So the parents and young people will be able to learn about the Liberated Village and then also to see some of the young people's work on display. We've got a filmmaker who's managing a kind of, we're calling it a film festival, but it'll be a series of shorts that's student films. Anita, I think you may have met Miss Anita, Dr. Cal, we call her. So we'll have films by the young people. We'll have dance performances and music that they're mixing. Vitamin D teaches the hip hop music, so he'll have some of their music on display. And it's just an opportunity to sort of celebrate our young people, for one thing, but to also give other young people and other parents an opportunity to get their kids registered for some of these organizations and to participate in the Liberated Village.
Well, clearly the need is definitely big and wide. And so I love hearing this kind of, way of not just showcasing the brilliance within these organizations, but the services that they're really looking to give young people and the families really as an extension.
Oh, yeah.
I think about my kids all the time, and part of, me being embedded in community means that I have a purview to so many different nodes that they can hit. But a lot of parents don't have that. And so tell us from your experience how you've been able to kind of guide parents to understand some of these opportunities that exist outside of the schools oftentimes for their young people to be even more enriched.
Yeah. Well, and that's what the village does. I mean, it involves the parents as well as the young people. It's not just for young people, but it is for the parents as well. There's Dr. Sullivan provides classes on how to best educate black and brown children. And she teaches teachers, parents, adults, so that they can understand the needs. And she's been doing this work for years. So you have opportunities for the parents to be just as engaged, to be leaders. They serve in various ways throughout this process. So it is not just for young people. I just want to be clear about that. It is for parents as well, so that they can understand the needs of their children as well as understand the opportunities. It's just like the college preparation. College preparation, my kids were first going to college, I realized the process of just getting them finding a college and getting them registered and set up, and the cost is just, if you haven't done you had no experience with that, then it's just a big, it's a big challenge to figure out how to get. And so we provide that. We provide services that help young people and parents understand how you get into college. What colleges are out there? What do they cost? So, but at the same time, there's an organization that deals with trades and teaches young people about the various trades and what kind of living you can make in trade. So there are many opportunities, finance, and the finance education that this one group does is for the parents and the students. So everybody learns about financial management and the options for managing your money, investing your money, that sort of thing. So it's really, which is why it's called the village, because it's complete with so many different ways of engaging young people and families, really. And that's who's invited to the festival, to learn about the village.
Well, this goes back to the original. People have heard me say it a lot, but I always talk about the original civilizations, right? So much of it was village minded. It had a village format. And oftentimes what they did back then, these are some of the things and tools and ideologies we need to bring back today. Right. Someone sent me something recently and it said, look, we had an understanding in some of our original societies. We had an understanding that, hey, if you do something, you have a skill, you do a business, we all come to you for that thing because you're in our community, right? Somebody in the community does something, we go to them. Even if somebody outside of the community can do it maybe a little bit better or for less cost or whatever, we do not go outside of the community to do that. We stay within. And communities having that understanding and perspective, there's a real level of respect that then each node of community can give to the other, because we already know you are buying from that person who makes shoes, you're buying from that person who does welding or whatever it is, right? The services and products are really within the community. And this village, the Liberated Village, really represents that, right? Because each one of these organizations is doing something different, but they all have something that these families can benefit from. And therein lies the real node of like what a family can walk away with is all of these amazing connections.
That is, and that's the purpose of the festival. This big open house is to have the opportunity to meet all of the different leaders and the organizations that are providing these services. That's what that's for. And we'll do an orientation, so we'll talk about the village and who the people are. We'll talk about, there's a registration so that we have, because in trying to create a community like we used to have, we were talking earlier about gentrification. Well, when the CD was the CD, what I grew up in, everything was there. We had our connections. We had what was called Saturday school. And so we've been talking about that within the village, this idea, because supplementing the education for our young people is really critical.
It is.
The school systems, they just don't provide what our students need, and that's evident. You look at the data, and that tells you that. So you have to supplement. You have to do something else to make sure your child gets the exposure, gets the quality education. At our school, I've heard students say, wow, I never understood math until I came here.
Wow.
Well, it's because you got a smaller environment, and the students, they get more attention. And it's the same thing with all these providers. They're small organizations, and they're dedicated, and a lot of times dedicated because of their own children's experiences in a school system. So, what we do. Internships here at ATS. We got the internship. The kids all love it. The exposure. Our young lady, just when she got to meet you and see your environment, she was lit up. She doesn't have that kind of experience. And so that kind of thing, that's what you'd have in a village. You'd have opportunities to engage with professional adults in different arenas and be able to, and just that exposure helps you to understand more and grow. So, the village is important for all those reasons.
Well, it's a key anchor. I mean, especially when you talk about it through the eyes of young folks who are being exposed. It's just a key anchor. And that's why I'm so grateful for all of the folks who continue to pour into my two sons, because it's beyond family. It's like there's this whole thing, and they're anchors for them, right? That allow for them to understand that they're valuable, they're brilliant, they're geniuses, right? In the ways that we pour in. Really, as a parent, I am just elated because I get to experience the fruits of having that village mentality around. I mean, when you think about something like this, Steve, and all the years that you've been dedicated to, young people and their creative abilities and talents, what is something for you that's really exciting about, this upcoming event? Because I'm sure there are multiple things, but you've been doing this for a really long time, and this is like another node, almost another wave of brilliance in all these organizations that you and others at ATS are able to plug folks and families into.
Yeah, well, the thing I initially thought about, I didn't know I didn't know exactly what you're going to ask, but what you made me think about, and this is related, but what excites me after doing this for so many years is that I've had one young person in particular, and I've had others do this, but when they come to you like 10 years or even 15 years later, and this one young lady, this is exactly what she says. She says, Mr. Sneed, as an adult, she says, Mr. Sneed, I am so embarrassed for how I behaved when I was, and she's right. She should be embarrassed, right? But what I saw was a young lady now in business for herself, productive, doing things, and it tells me that you don't give up on anybody. You never give up on anybody, because people, young people, and that's why they need us as adults, because they need some guidance, they need some direction, they need some vision to be able to see what's possible for them. So what I'm excited about for this event, more than anything, is just the opportunity for all of us to be in one spot and to see this village, to experience the village, to meet each other. I mean, we love a gathering anyway, right? And that's what it's all about, to come together for the young people and the adults and the teachers and the educators and the activity producers and all the folks who are involved, to be in one spot and to be able to share and to understand each other. And, we'll do it again, I'm sure, but this is the first time we'll do this. So that's what I'm really excited about, the gathering.
Well, I got to say, you got me excited too. I'm telling you, I'm excited because I understand what's being poured into this amazing event, so that families can really walk away and get that outpouring, right?
Yes,
that we can pour into families.
Yes.
That's the key here,
That's
and for
it.
young folks to understand it. I want you to look right there in that camera. Make sure
Okay,
folks know
which one?
this one closest to me. How do they, make sure that they show up on May 13th? Where do they get the info?
Okay, well, the best place is to get it from me right now. May 13th at Alan T. Sugiyama High School. It used to be called South Lake. And it starts at 11. Like I say, we'll have free food, so you don't have to worry about lunch, because we'll have lunch for you. It'll start at 11. Now, let me ask you, can we put something on the screen with the website and that sort of thing? Phone number, is that possible?
We can put it in the caption at least.
Okay,
I'll make sure
all right,
that,
we'll do that. But May 13th, write that down or make note of that, at Alan T. Sugiyama High School at 11. It starts at 11 a.m. And the phone number, I would get that to you.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Steve.
All right.
It's always a pleasure to be with you, and I just want to publicly thank you for your tireless dedication to our community. You have, received awards for it, but awards can never really tell the tale of your impact. And I'm just grateful that I don't have to apologize to you for how I showed up as a young person in your life. So I will say, just thank you for staying very consistent and always being that resource for young folks and families.
Yeah.
We are so grateful to have you here in this community, shining your light on all of us. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Trae.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Oh, y'all, I told you it's going to be a wonderful episode. Of course, I get to wrap it all up right after this short break. Stay tuned. You're watching The Day with Trae.